Hey everybody, welcome to Zero to Hero Season 2. As you can see, there's a Marthmain on the picture. We're going to introduce the person who will be the Zero, although not quite technically. So, Van, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? I'm Van. I'm a Marth main from NorCal and been playing for a pretty long time now. But just recently, until recently, I never really looked at the way I played. So I I saw the Zero to Hero reward thing on Big House 5 and decided to YOLO it and learn more from Tathel.
Awesome. Yeah, you spent a lot of money. I was actually surprised because I was kind of worried. Because people like private messaged me and said, "Oh, can I buy this out for X amount of dollars?" I'm not going to reveal what. But then I was like, "Oh, somebody bought it. Cool." But technically, you're not a zero. I've seen I think I've been to the same tournaments as you,
Awesome.
and and you're a lot better than when Atrioc first started, and you're probably better than Atrioc right now.
It'll be interesting for us to go through this,
Yeah.
but I think we can do it.
Yeah. What? Tell us a little bit about your journey. Who do you play with? How'd you get in the game? Just to give a little introduction.
I started playing and watching around the end of the Ken era, no, like late 2006, and I was a Peach main back then. So that was like basically the enemy back then. Then I switched over to Marth in around 2009. Back then I only played with my high school friends. If you know Nat, he's also a Marth main from NorCal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you play
and,
with Lord too?
yeah. I play with Lord basically every other week. I would say we've been
Okay.
playing together since '08, '09. They have a
Got
little nickname for our group. We're called the Lord's Disciples.
it.
Praise the Lord. Jesus, not Jesus, just Lord. Eric Louis.
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely see that you guys have a very specific, very skirmishy play style. So you've sent me some videos, and every week, I try to find a theme to revolve around, and then we can go from there. You feel free to ask any questions. With Atrioc, I just kind of tell him, "Hey, this is the theme we're going to go over. If you have any questions you encountered like throughout the week, just let me know. Or if you've been thinking about something, just go ahead and share." But I figured that I watched your match against Cheese Poof or Cheese Puff, Jigglypuff main. I believe he's from like Tri-State originally, and he moved
Uh,
recently to Berkeley
he was from Columbia.
or
That's,
Columbia. Yeah.
then
Uh,
he came to Berkeley. I think he's number 1 there now. I'm not sure. Berkeley.
Damn. I actually played him at, um, I think it was Apex, and like I did 2-0 him, but I remember it being really close. Like both games, I was like, damn, he's like pretty good. Um, so I was actually surprised. I was like, oh, these random puffs. But the themes that I got from watching your matches that I felt that we can really go over are holding your ground and dead space. And I'll explain what I mean by dead space. But I feel like these are two aspects of the game that I think because you play Lord, he plays a particular footsie style. It's really um, good that you guys skirmish a lot, but I feel like there's a lot of other fundamentals that you guys can touch on.
It's the age old offense versus defense thing.
Yeah, and so we're gonna move on through the slides. So last week there was no recap because this is the first week.
You can
Uh,
recap. You can recap how we almost started, but
yeah,
but yeah,
uh,
it's okay.
I scrubbed out because I did the IGN video last week, and so that's why I like ended up really busy.
It gave me a lot of time to rewatch the videos I sent you because I was basically really unprepared uh,
Uh,
that Tuesday, so that was good.
Gotcha. So I just want to talk about this, and it's Dead Space. So I think you can see my window, right? To you?
Yeah,
Okay. So fundamentally, right? This is like a space that we play around a lot with, right? Because your ranges go like this far. Like this is where like you're trying to fight for that like closing that last gap to like get to your opponent. And so you're just outside their range, and they're just outside. You're outside their range. Does this make sense?
yeah.
It's a very common um, place. Like even in like board games, right? When you play chess, you're just going outside of their range so that they don't get a free piece. Um, But if you go into their space, you have to trade or do something, or else you're just gonna lose. So the fundamental question is like, how do we close this gap? And this is where the mix-ups come into play. So here's like a little diagram. This is like these circles represent like your range and Jigglypuff's range, like with what she can do. And to kind of even hit this goalpost, right? You have to do something to close that space to get that hit. And likewise, Jigglypuff can't hit you unless she moves.
Sounds good.
Does that make sense so far? And then feel free to interact. So,
I honestly have no idea how I would hit Jigglypuff. Just
okay,
thinking about that set I did
Well-
versus Cheese Puff.
right,
Because when I go in down tilt, I expect him to jump, right?
yeah,
But I noticed that he would just hit me before the down tilt because he's already expecting the down tilt,
yeah.
and he was like back here me in the face.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, like a lot of people, you probably read Marth guides if you probably like watch PPU, right? That's what motivates you to do the down tilt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of already goes into it, right? Because if you go in and, this is like one outcome, you both go in at each other. And if the Jigglypuff is too antsy, you win out because your attacks are better.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you can... Let's actually go to this example. This is like the down tilt example that we bring up. Right? Where you go in, and then you use your down tilt. However, in this situation, like, you want to be able to understand, so this is like a very key position, but you also have to understand like your options, their options, what they think you're going to do, and what you're going to do, or what you think they're going to do. So in this example, like, Cheese Puff probably has the counterplay in line, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, we can go into this scenario, right, where you can go in, you can force the bait, and then run away. And so that's one example of holding your ground. And this is something that's going to be really important because if we're too antsy to throw a hitbox, right, and you know this perfectly well, Marth,
Yes.
that if you whiff, right, this clearly misses the Jigglypuff, you're in for a very tough time. Like,
It's nearest the most deceptive move any Marth can make because it looks like it can beat anything, but it doesn't.
there's like timing windows. So if you're too antsy, whether it's with the down tilt or with an aerial, and you whiff and they're in position, it's really bad. And this is something I noticed a lot with Cheese Poof, is that you were like, whenever you got into this particular space, whether it's the puff is here or the puff is like here, just outside your range, or even here, I noticed that in the beginning it worked out because the Jigglypuff was invading your space, so you could hit. But what ends up happening as the match progressed is you go first, and the Jigglypuff was wise to just wait.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? And we can point out examples. And so
I'll set.
yeah. And so in this position, we have to really examine. Yeah, once in a while we can go in, but if our opponent is playing a counterplay to us, we can't keep doing the same things. So we're gonna go to the match, and I'm gonna just show some examples where it kind of worked in the beginning, and then it kind of fell apart as the match progresses. All right. So feel free to ask questions, make comments, say stupid puns. I like doing that.
I was actually I wanted to enter as Bernie Vanders in this tournament, but I decided not to.
Bernie Vanders. Is that a shout out to Hugo?
No, not really. I usually do a different Van pun every tournament, but this one I got bored, or I got lazy.
All right, I'm gonna turn off the volume. So, like, we're gonna find this dead zone very often, and we can go into how other players handle it. But pretty much, we're in a very similar position, right? So, is it pretty clear what I'm saying by dead space?
Yeah.
Like this area that we're trying to fight for, where
control of that as far as swings.
where I keep drawing circles. Where one of us can either go into the space and get suffer, um, or this guy can go in and we can hit. So fighting for that space is, always going to be key, and it's always going to be full of mix-ups. And this is like a position that you're always going to have to see, like, what are they going to do? So if there's ever a point of emphasis I really want you to focus on, it's just, what do I do with that dead space?
And you apply this to all matchups?
Yes, because fundamentally, in whatever matchup it is for here, the dead space tends to, for this particular matchup, tends to be in this zone, right?
Yeah.
If it's with, a person with like Fox, then that dead space looks different. But fundamentally, there is a dead space that you're trying to, maneuver around, or else, you could play super passive and never enter the dead space, but then the Jigglypuff will eventually corner you and blah, right?
It's good to put a name to that place I'm trying to control.
Yeah.
That's it. Because mainly my mentality is I want control of the space, of the circle in front of Mars Sword.
Right. And that's like this, right?
But I don't really think about how the jigs can come in and try to take that space from me. I just think it's already mine. I'm gonna throw out an air or a fair, and then I can get it.
Think of it like cooldowns. This is like an analogy I gave. You throw out an attack, and then you have a cooldown associated with where you're super vulnerable, right? So like, when you play like a MOBA or something, people play around the idea of a cooldown, where if you throw out an attack, you can't throw out anything, and then they can take advantage. So, and then another analogy I can give is chess. Yeah, where like, yes, you can threaten this, but your opponent can trick you and go like, oh, if I go in this close, you're gonna throw out this attack. I'm gonna wait, and then I'm gonna hit you after. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's like the general trend with most jigs today is to taste in space compared to the aggressive style we used to see.
Yeah. And the reason why that's the case is because most people's neutral games and spacing are a lot more refined. So you can't just walk up and hit people. Like, they're not going to let you do that for free. Like,
that works sometimes, but you have to be.
But like when the player, when you get a better player, right? Like, be honest, like Shroom is not going to let you get that hit for free. Like, if you throw an attack and you whiff, you're going to get punished really hard. Lord will probably punish you really hard if you whiff, or throw out a move too preemptively.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go in. I'm in like half speed. So let's see. Ooh. Alright, so nothing too important so far yet.
Is it just a normal scrimmage?
Yeah.
I should probably start going for those downers.
Yeah. So nothing that really points out yet.
That was a mess of pivot tipper. Then I stopped going for it after that one mess up.
So this is like going to be a familiar zone, but like, so once again, dead space. And the reason why this keeps happening is you're subconsciously spacing in that distance, right? There's no coincidence that this is a very common spot for you. So far, like, there are things that honestly Cheese Puff lets you get away with that would get destroyed if it was like Soft Tech or Hungrybox.
Or I think he caught him later in the set.
Yeah, I mean, but especially like the run-up grabs.
Yeah.
I was like screaming. I was like, "Oh no! Like, is he gonna get grabbed?" As I was first watching it. So, just be mindful of like some things that may work on Cheese Puff will definitely get punished really hard against those puffs that will punish everything with rest. So I really like what you did here. I'm gonna pinpoint it out.
The 4B.
You did a forward B, and it was like relatively safe given the position. I don't think he could have gone a back air, and then you retreated, and you baited. Whether he didn't know that he could reach you or not, it was a really smart move to, get a little punish there.
That's one thing I noticed. I wasn't tricky enough with catching him when he was going down.
Yeah.
When I fully committed to that up air earlier.
I really like this. Aside from the fact that you kind of messed up the, I guess the move. I'm
So
assuming that's an up tilt.
yeah,
So it's like pretty good play. I mean, like you have a lot of good ideas. The side Bs into up tilts to kill are really smart, and you're playing pretty well so far. So you're like you're playing with a really good mindset here. You're zigzagging in and out a lot. So like you're going in safe ranges, um, and you really didn't get punished for doing anything too deep. And I think as the set goes on, I think you lose that discipline. Whether Cheese Puff is forcing you into bad plays or I think you get a little impatient. But in this beginning, you do really well.
it's probably a mixture of both
Yeah,
impatience and
yeah.
cheese puff adapting.
So I gotta ask. So this may not be a side note, but I'm wondering. Let's see what sets this up to get opened up here. So what's your game plan here? And this is something I'm like really curious about because it tells a lot about the player and just like general mindset. So Puff has 3 seconds on you. What's your goal?
Right here,
Yeah.
just run around, don't get hit. And at the end of the at the end of his invincibility, I want him to throw out a move that I know he'll lose the invincibility from. Then I'll hit him.
Oh, that's such a lord mindset. He does that all the time.
But
Yeah.
I don't think I did that well enough against the buff, sadly. Yeah,
Yeah. So I would
just a
be.
general,
Go ahead.
that was a general idea.
Okay, gotcha. In general, I would really just stay grounded. This is just general advice. So I might be tangenting off, but anytime where, um, let's see, where you're forced to go above, Puff, it's just not a good zone. So there's one instance, and then you whiff completely there on kind of a guess. Maybe you thought you could, hit, and I don't blame you, but I noticed a lot of full hops in general that were very risky.
Yeah, that's one of my big weaknesses. Defense
Yeah.
and a few double jumps, I think.
You just barely missed. That's kind of interesting. So I like the idea here. You immediately take center stage after that exchange. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Very smart. I love it. Yeah, I don't
I'm
know. That
yeah.
looked really weird. I thought you were gonna hit that too.
Yeah, I really thought that was going to be a tipper, but he ducked it. He has a tendency of ducking right after every aerial.
So how can we punish that?
The Asmarth,
Yeah,
the duck.
yeah,
I really had no idea. I actually tried to do the down air then up B,
yeah,
but Puff can shield
yeah.
before the hits.
If
So my main goal, I don't know. I feel like I just reset to neutral and see what happens after.
if you're absolutely positive and you have position, just throw a down tilt and you
No.
force a shield.
Uh,
And if you think that you're a little late, you know how like Falco, if you tech chase late on Falco, you get shined, right?
yeah.
So if you're in position for it, try down tilting and forcing a shield, and you can get a poke or a hit. If you're late and you think they're gonna do a spontaneous like back air, then what you can do is run up towards them, duck, pretend to do the down tilt, bait them to jump, and then fair them.
Okay.
So think of it like chess. But let's see. So I like this. Barely miss, slightly miss space. So this is where the issues start to come alive, and this is something that I'm going to point out. We're in this. It's a little hard to see, but we're once again kind of in a modified dead zone spot, where unless you throw out it's like a really odd space where you're going to have to skirmish, and this is where Cheese Puff is starting to just wait for you, and he's going to start doing it more often.
Yeah. See,
And the reason why that fair is a little risky is because even if you hit, like she can crouch cancel and she goes underneath you. Usually not a good spot. Um, so just be mindful. It's always about shifting gears. PC in the documentary says like, oh, it's like playing hot and cold. So just pay mental notes. Are is he going into you, and can you trade? If so, then you can still throw out hitboxes very often and get away with it because your character's better at it. But if they're starting to wait, then you have to think of other game plans, and you have to pay attention to like how they're reacting to your playstyle. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
So
That was a bad double jump. That was a terrible
yeah,
double.
you got away with it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So
That
here,
was
I'm actually surprised because um, we want to figure out how to wall her out without getting center stage so easily, because this is one of the most important things of you versus pretty much almost any character as Marth is you need to box her out of this spot. Um, and sometimes it could be a matter of just jumping, and you don't even have to throw an attack, but you have to be able to threaten her to pull back and not get this way for free. So that's like one of the most important things. Um, for some reason, you lost a skirmish here, and not only that, uh, you got killed for it.
I
Um,
think I would have made it if I didn't double jump and just went back to the edge.
yeah. Were you just nervous?
Probably. It was grand finals. I didn't realize it was grand finals until Street Buff actually told me, "Hey, it's grand finals."
Oh, really? And then,
Yes. Ralph and Glitter were there, but they told me they busted out for some reason, so I guess they went their secondaries. So I didn't have to play any of
nice.
them.
Oh, so nervous. You guys got out. So it's kind of interesting because you guys both like played like really nervous here. So you lose out here and then you're forced into the air. Uncomfortable spot, right, for Marth.
Yeah.
Do you know how to shield drop, or no?
Uh, yes.
Okay.
Not in situation yet.
So once
But
again, oh, go ahead.
I'm only good at doing it in defensive situations.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Because
really
oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
don't really do it proactively.
Gotcha. So in this spot, because the character is slow, and if you're ever put in a spot where you don't have center stage, um, like as Marth, like and dealing with this slower character, if your opponent gives you a free route to center stage, I notice that you love to skirmish, and that's fine. But sometimes there's greater value of being like, oh, okay, like I found an escape route. So as soon as you notice, like, okay, if she goes like this high, then your route down here to go here becomes free.
So you think a shield drop during her hit zone would have been great there?
She'll drop like
Or
right when
before
she right when she jumps up.
Okay.
You could have gone a free escape.
Would
Right.
she be able to get a rest from there during the shield drop?
What was that?
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
Yeah. So you could as soon as this back air comes out, you could have rerouted instead of going back, and then you would have gone a free route to center stage. But instead, you're back on the platform, and it's kind of you're taking damage.
I'm in a very glass canyon mode right now.
Yeah. So once again, the situation comes up again where you're caught jumping, and you're assuming that she's gonna jump into you, but she doesn't. So, or Cheese Puff doesn't. So, once again, familiar spot of skirmish, and by then you put yourself here. So one thing you can do to reset is just wave dash in place, just air dodge down. If you once again, if you feel that they're gonna go into you, then that's fine. But if they are waiting for this, then this is a free punish for them, and this is something we need to be really careful of.
The shield should have been a pretty good tip off that he was going to wait.
But if you just held place and controlled your momentum forward, it would have not been that bad. But because you go in and you use forward momentum, that's something that I noticed a lot. Of
I
course,
recently tried to implement more shield stops to stop the forward momentum into
Yeah.
my game. And hopefully that'll help out.
So it's an interesting mix-up here, and I feel that Cheese Puff was thinking that you're going to attack moving forward. So this is why this kind of works for you. because he thought you were going to swing directly again. And if that was the case, he would have gotten a free shield grab. So smart of you to retreat.
If I wave dash forward smash forward, then he probably would have got a rest.
Yeah.
So.
Or even if you forward smashed in place.
Yeah.
So the reason why that worked was because he thought that you were going to jump into him or something.
This definitely didn't work.
Yeah. Uh-oh. That's so scary. You make me nervous sometimes.
I blame the Lord style.
Yeah. And this,
it's really
I mean,
just me.
yeah. I mean, the Lord style works when your reward is high. And for the audience or whoever watches this, what I mean is like, when you play Marth or Falcon against like a Spacey, right? You can play a little bit risky as long as you set up a hit. And if you set up a hit, right, you can kill them because they're Fox, Falco, or Falcon. Because you can.
There's no real easy reward for Marth's Puff besides the pivot tipper.
Yeah. So overall, like, as boring as it sounds, like I love that you swing, and that's a nice change of pace from most Martha just dash dance spam and don't attack. You're not going to get rewarded in this match. Like, you're going to get rewarded 10% at a time, and the good puffs are just going to rest you. They're going to find a way to rest you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Or doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Sounds like anything less than stuff.
So good up B there to just get out. Cheese Puff was a little greedy.
I fell too in love with that up B as later, and we'll see in the set. I think that could have been a pivot tipper too.
Yeah.
But that tech skill comes with a good amount of time.
The one play I like to do on Puff, even as Sheik, and it's like very frustrating for Puff to deal with, because you're more mobile than her. Oh no, okay, you got down. All right. So good. You didn't go in this time, so you're starting to pull back on the dead space so that Puff can't go in.
I'm noticing that I'm retreating to underneath the platform a lot, but I don't know if that really benefits Marth.
We can explain that. Uh-oh. Alright, so she gets you. It's okay. I mean, it always, it's an it's depends type of thing. So, the reason why is because if Puff's up here and you're down here, it's a pretty good spot for you because how does Puff hit you?
Straight from me. And he can't really come from above.
Yeah. So it's not that bad if the Puff is above the platform because you have a threat of hitting her, but she can't really hit you.
The risk reward is a bit tough here, though, especially at hypersense for Marth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go down here, like, she can't hit you.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you can always threaten her and just hold your ground. It's a little different, though, if, let's say, Puff was here, and you go straight here, because now you're cornered, and that back air is going to hurt you a lot more because you're closer to the ledge.
Yeah.
Whereas, if Puff is here, and you're down here, then that's a really good spot for you, because even if you get hit, you're only going to get knocked back to, like, right here, and you still have stage to work with. So this isn't bad. Personally, I wouldn't be. I don't know why you're all the way here though, and you exhausted your double jump.
I don't know. I think I was just trying to look cool.
Because now what happens is, it's going to take you some time to get down here, and the Puff gets all the way here. And whereas if you stayed here, the Puff, is going to be having second thoughts about even getting to this zone. So stage control is like just. If you don't get anything out of this, stage control is like the most important thing.
Yeah. And he's back on stage.
Yeah.
That was an interesting trade. I don't know. Would you say he won that part, or I did? If trade with his backer.
I think it's an even. I think you slightly win, and I'm going to explain why here. Is because you're coming from like this side. And the net result of it is you can push for this much space, and look at where Puff is.
Okay, that
so
makes sense.
even though you guys traded percent, the way I look at Puff is did I get more stage also? Even if she took 5 damage and you took like 13, I actually think that you won that trade based on stage position. So here, you can kind of hold your ground here, right? And I
Yeah.
feel that you're dashing away without a sense of purpose. So the flip side of like playing that Dead Space game is, um, a you obviously you don't want to get hit, and I understand that. But B, you don't want to give up too much stage for free.
There's
So
gotta be
this might
balance.
this might be a point in time, and this is something that actually frustrates Hungrybox. And I remember PP mentioned it, where he would walk up to this familiar space. He wouldn't do anything. He would just wait there, and then he'd force Puff to do something. And as soon as he sees Puff do something, wham! Because if
This
Puff
is
throws up the first hitbox, then he's in cooldown, and you get a free hit if you space properly.
this is PP's mark.
Yeah. This was like PP talking about playing friendlies with Hungrybox many years ago, where he
Right.
would run in like kind of just outside the range of where Puff can do anything, and then force Puff to either retreat even further away, or throw out a hitbox, and then you just hit him.
I think at this point in time when I was playing him, I didn't really understand Puff space.
Okay.
It's like, yeah,
No one plays Puff in your group of friends, right?
not really. Lord said he was gonna try to figure it out.
Okay.
Uh, That'll be fun.
So you kind of got away here, and this is where.
Uh,
Um, so
was that
here,
trajectory or could he have ducked or something?
I mean, at the very least, you could throw out a down tilt on wake up if you don't feel comfortable with the forward smash, and you would have gone a free 10% plus you would have gone Puff off stage. But instead, what I see here is whoops. So you got a nice little tech chase. If you feel comfortable in the forward smash, then you do it. If not, forward tilt. But that was really scary that you full hop there. But you got away with it because Cheese Puff rolled for some reason.
That was a very old school tactic, I would say. So the double jump makes them go in. That's what Ken used to do back in the day. But I don't. In this day and age, people are too good at punishing it. I probably shouldn't do it anymore.
Mutaking does it sometimes as like a bait, and then he just grabs you.
Yeah. But people always complain about Mewtwo King's neutral, anyways.
Yeah.
Though he's gotten a little better from what I noticed.
So I like that you're covering his space.
Do you think it's worth it to go out and just hit him when he's recovering, like with a really well spaced bear or something?
No.
Just stay on stage.
Anything that could risk getting you killed or makes you exhaust your double jump, like if she wins that, you die.
So the safe four tilts and down tilts are good enough.
Yeah. Or I mean, you could jump into them. The more complicated example is Mango, right? Where Mango kind of jumps out, but he jumps just away enough that like Hungrybox can't hit him, and then if he sees Hungrybox get a little too antsy, then he counter hits him. So you can do that, right? Where you go towards him, you make him think that you're gonna go all the way in, and then he throws out like a back air, a pound, or a forward air, and then you just hit him after. A lot of this is like a game of chicken, right? We like both go towards each other. We make each other think like, oh, I'm gonna throw out this hitbox at you, or I'm gonna run towards you to make you think that you can throw out your hitbox, and then whoever whiffs first in the right position loses.
It's a pretty cool way. I never really thought about shifting my momentum to make someone do something. It's always like making someone do something because I down tilt, or if I do like a whiff bait or something.
Yeah.
But I never thought about momentum before.
So this is like very interesting, and we have two more instances of this is Dead Zone skirmish. I'll point it out. So we have this. You wait, and he shields. But what? So we're in Street Fighter. Like we look for certain things, and what he's specifically actually waiting for is for you to jump. If he doesn't see that jump, then his game plan was really safe against the options you're willing to throw. So he runs away. He sees that you don't want to jump, and then he gives up that spot. And you actually win here because now you have more stage. Alright, similar situation here. But you attack. And look what happens.
I actually leaned back a little bit. I thought I was gonna do a fading air. I guess I didn't.
Yeah, Nair is like hard. And I don't understand it. Like even as Sheik, like I end up just hitting it after, and I always think that the Nair is like gonna protect, but it doesn't.
It's more of a illusion,
Yeah.
I'd say. Than it.
I
It only really beats like I don't know, Ices.
Ooh, very very nice. You're not playing bad, but And I think for the most part, your spacing's like pretty solid, and you're making pretty good choices, and you're not doing anything noticeably bad. And as long as you're not doing that, like, you should be fine against Puff, because Puff has to like get something. And once again, that jump. Do you see that?
Yeah. Jumping is pretty bad this match.
Yeah.
He could have rested me.
So in this time, like, if he's waiting for you every time, what you can do to kind of reduce the change the rock paper scissors, is you can start throwing out, like, running at him and forcing him to jump first, or if he's just gonna shield, just down tilt him for a couple times and then stop doing it, and then he's gonna be encouraged preemptively to jump, and that's how you condition.
Okay.
Because like no Puff is just gonna jump on his free will. You have to make him do something. And so for him to attack first, you can threaten him with down tilt. It's like rock paper scissors. You pick rock 3 times, and he's gonna go paper, which is jump, and then the next time you can go scissors by waiting and forward airing.
You think I should just eliminate the Nair from my Puff matchup?
I mean, I wouldn't say never, but it's definitely not working in the spacing that you want to.
Because the risk reward is really, it's the same damage as Fair.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no real reason. It's just a flourish that looks cool.
Oh, that was so scary. Uh-oh.
That was bad.
Are you done? Are you done? So why did this whole process happen? And this is how I usually analyze videos, right? Because you have a pretty, fatty lead, and then something goes wrong. So yeah, you know what? I would say like Fair's overall, much more useful. It does more damage. Like even here, you nick, and sometimes it goes into shenanigans.
Yeah, he smashed you at it, I think, or it just was too far for him.
Yeah. So once again, that jump, costed you, like 20 damage. And then that nair. So I think one thing I've noticed here, and I'll point it out, is that when a character's coming from a platform, you're underestimating the amount of space they can cover. And I see this a lot even when you play like Foxes and Falcos too, in the other matches, where you underestimate the amount of distance they cover, and then you collide.
So I should go back a little more.
Yeah. Well, you just judge it slightly better, because if they get that position first and you back up, if you have position first, then you can throw out your hitboxes. Uh-oh. No, that jump again.
He could have rested me a few times there.
I don't think he wants to risk it.
Oh, that's true. He has a stop.
Yeah. Oh no, that was so scary. I guess he never punished you for it at that space, so you can get away with it. Other Puffs, actually, you technically still get killed.
I thought I was gonna nick him with that up over there, but it was too slow.
Alrighty. That was so scary. I thought you were gonna die by up tilt.
It was quite possible.
Oh, you're swinging. You're nervous. These are the grand finals nerves. You could have died there.
We should just do a tally of how many times I could have died in the last stocks.
Oh my gosh.
He's also joking a bit, it seems.
Yeah. Oh, you got a tipper there. Damn.
That was super lucky, because he technically could have avoided that tipper entirely.
Yeah, but you did it fast.
But I think the DI makes it at that percentage. Actually, I'm not sure. Someone has to ask Cardano.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go to like your last matches, your moments here, to see what the contrast is, and then we'll go back to other matches.
The one in Pokemon?
Yeah. So what goes wrong here, or what goes right?
Pretty good control of the center stage.
Yeah.
And I didn't respect his space.
Yeah. So I think one thing we have to do is work a game plan to get you back to control from the ledge. Um, I'm frankly not sure what to do exactly yet. I'm gonna have to theorize and
I've heard people say just camp the fair at the edge and then wait for them to go back to center
yeah,
stage when they get bored. Makes me bore them. Tell
yeah,
them like a really, really annoying, boring story with your fair.
yeah. Because I noticed that almost every time like the puff has some sort of stage position, and you're on the ledge, you're not winning very often in that zone, and it's costing you a lot of percentage.
I could just not go to the ledge
Yeah,
in neutral. That was a bad shield breaker.
not bad. You're fishing for like a tipper, right, from a grab.
Yeah, I can't really get that. I wasn't really inconsistent with the tipper grab
Yeah.
at this point in time.
All right. So a lot of just general like jumping that I see, and it's really nerve-wracking to see. Like that should never happen. Where like you're edge guarding and somehow the puff like ends up in better position than you.
That was a super hard read, I guess,
Yeah.
that I went all the way up there.
Alrighty. Let's see. So I like that you're not like you subconsciously for one reason or another stopped like doing forward aerials while she's ducking.
Guess that's a good thing. I wasn't really thinking about it.
Yeah. But overall like
That was
she
I don't know if that happened.
overall it just seems we got to stay more grounded because I'm like scared for your life.
That's how my girlfriend feels every day
Oh my gosh.
for different reasons.
Yeah. You daredevil. So I actually like your movement here. Like you're shifting around. You're slightly losing space though, which is like my one concern. But you're not overly exerting yourself and trying to fight Bear directly. But now
I
we
think
have,
if I tried too hard to get center stage, he would have just bared me or something.
yeah. But what we need to do is figure out what spacing that he bears, so that you can just react and hit. So what I mean is, let's see. That's like a really dangerous bear, and we need to find the right spot that we can just react and hit him.
That could have been a really quick fair right there,
Yeah,
but I just retreated instead.
yeah. So what we got to figure out here, and this is where footsies come in a weird sort of way because Puff is weird,
Yeah.
is if Puff starts here, right, and jumps, like how close can we be that we can be in position that if she throws a certain type of hitbox that goes up here, like that we can just hit it.
I would say maybe directly below the platform where that red line is.
That red line.
Yeah.
So what we can do here to manipulate that spacing if they're overly antsy is that we can dash dance here, and if we dash dance to this spot and bait the jump, like we pretend we go up but we aren't, then we can counter poke there.
Let's see what he does. He does exactly. Oh, actually, he retreated.
Yeah, but slowly he's gaining stage. And one other important thing, this is like something like I've learned against Puff, is so they're doing bear walls, right?
Yeah.
I do experiments where I see what they try to do. They back air once, right? Where does this Puff go? This way, or this way? And this is something that you really want to pay attention to. This is something Mango's really good at, is following Puff's movement. And so not only are you competing for space, you're trying to also read movement. You're trying to see, like, okay, after he throws out that bear, which most likely I can't beat because it's a really good hitbox, like, where is he going after that bear, and where can I find an advantage? So try to read the movement and why he's doing the movement he does. Because once you figure that out, you can wreck Puff.
So this match isn't really that bad.
It requires patience. It requires playing chess. It requires playing chess. It requires following a lot of very simple rules of not doing stupid things. But it is very doable, and you can just abuse certain aspects of the matchup. So we already talked about no jumping like into them unless you position them to just hold shield. Center stage. Is there any other thoughts that come to mind here?
But kill moves. I was mainly just going for the forward B up tilt.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do when he smashes the eyes to forward B? You just go for up air or fair him again? Or
You just gotta play it honest. I would think of it in a way of I'm not trying to hit him. I'm trying not to get hit, and
okay.
I'm gonna make it as annoying as possible for Puff to hit me. While like I can hit him every time he messes up, and you just gotta just play the grind game
So
because
you're kind of playing the game that everyone hates about what Pups does to them.
yeah, that's pretty much like how it works because nothing is super rewarding against Puff, especially as Marth. Like the only thing you really have is the Kadano edgeguard, and even side B, you watch it against PPU. Like if they're wanting to crotch cancel it every time, then I would just switch to down tilt and get a little bit more damage.
This is a very let's say unsatisfying matchup.
It's a very it is actually, but it's like a grind fest. But you can make it annoying for Puff as well.
Work hard at each step, yeah. Just
Yeah.
like the job market.
Yeah, I heard you worked at Apple, or you work at
Yeah,
Apple. It's pretty
it's
cool.
yeah. So I was thinking of doing our stream over there, but I was too lazy to stay for another hour.
Ah, do you work in Cupertino?
Yeah,
Okay, I used to live there.
it's it's nice, sort of.
So just a couple like other concepts. So obviously, this is like really bad if you whiff, and that's something that I pointed out a few times.
Who's
Um,
the playing HBox in this?
what was that?
Who's the Mars playing HBox here? Is it the
Who's the white mark? Who?
Moon?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what you can do, it's a lot of bait. Because just going into Puff is a recipe for disaster. So, just as Puff has made it, cheese Puff made it very enticing for you to go in on him. You can make it very enticing and bait with movement. You can go this way, dash dance, and make the Puff want to attack, and that's a very common bait of against Puff is to just go right outside her range and to make her think, oh, I'm gonna jump, and then you go like, haha, like I hit you. Um, Alternatively, you can like jump, but like just wave dash down, and then that can force her to jump. So those are a couple fakes that you can work with.
This sounds like a very conservative way to describe PP's playstyle.
Yes,
Everybody.
it is, and it's unfortunate, right? I definitely love your style against like foxes and Falcos and Falcons because you can get combos off of it. But anything that's super risky against Puff, you can die. And if you don't die, like, or if you win, you get like 20% tops.
I don't mind having changed my stuff.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game.
Yeah. Holding your ground. I think this is something like in general that I was a little worried about, and it's because like I always think of stage position as like potential energy, and like kinetic energy is like actually getting the hit, right? But like you have if you're Red Marth here, right? The potential for you to do damage is greater than the potential for him to get the next hit. And so one thing that we want to make sure that you're not doing too much is so in this spot we go from here. Marth decides to F smash, and in this situation how it plays out is it whiffs and then Blue Marth gets center stage. And so not only did you lose out on the hit, but you lost center stage, you lost momentum, and then that's going to eventually lead to very compromising positions for you.
That's probably what Ken would do.
Yeah.
As Roma.
Yeah. And that's why Ken's kind of like falling in certain aspects because he can get away with it. Skirmishing, in 05 to like 08, in certain matchups now, like you can get away with it if you can just outplay your opponent every time in the skirmish. But we live in an era where you will get super punished if you lose center stage. Okay, so the Phil matchup was a little hard for me to see. Do you want to go over
The film matchup?
let's see.
We can look at the other ones.
Yeah, do you want to look at the Fox or the Falco?
Which one do you think is more helpful? I actually feel more comfortable versus Falco, so we'll look at Fox.
Okay. Let's see. Against Burby. Burby is also like a relatively new player, right?
Yeah. Actually, we can look at was it the third match of the film matchup. That one's pretty clear. because the other one has like a weird bar going through it.
Okay, did you recorded in the wrong
Uh,
there's like a frame rate that you have to do it for the bar to
yeah,
disappear.
Andrew Wu was recording it for me, and he kept saying, "Yeah, this is all wrong, man. I work at Showdown. I know this."
Yeah, it's called the refresh rate. All right. So this is like where like an old lesson comes in, right? You know how to like so the zoning range like here um, is the zoning range is this, right? I'm not sure if you've watched like Lucian's video on spacing. Have you?
No,
All right. So like this matchup, like regardless of what character you are, like against Fox, is like you respect that running neutral air. You know what I mean by that, right?
yeah,
Like, because like if he's running, well, for now he doesn't have momentum, so he can't go as far. But that running neutral air can go all the way here, right? Give or take a little bit of space. And so that's like the one thing that I personally look for in spacing is if I interact with that space and they're dash dancing, like what are they doing when I invade this particular square?
okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Are they gonna near at me, basically? And that's like the always the fundamental threat that I have is he gonna near?
That's probably one of my weakest points of this matchup because I don't really respect the Nair versus my dash back during dash dance. Then
Yeah,
or I mess up a pivot and then it's over.
right. So you're probably going this far in, and then you're retreating, right? And then Fox can go like, oh, ha ha ha, you're in my range, I'm gonna near you, and then you're gonna shield, and then I'm gonna punish you.
Yeah,
So that's like the one thing you really want to look at. And I don't want you to like completely change your play style. Like I love your skirmishes, but one thing like you could do as a check, in the beginning if you have no read. Sometimes you can just go in directly, and most foxes don't expect it, and you can just like dominate them. But if they're playing that dash dancing game and they're not letting you in, one thing you can do is just go outside that range, and maybe you go even a little bit inside of it and see what they react to. Because if they're not going to do anything, then sure you can just go in and wreck them, right? Destroy
yeah.
that stupid fox. But if you go here and they're preempting like the nair, then you just dash back, and then you can respace. And if they're being too predictable with that, you can just grab it. And so that's like the prime spacing in this matchup. So you subconsciously do it. You already
Yeah.
know about it, whether or not somebody's told you. You have some sort of game sense for that.
Yeah.
That's how you get this grab.
Can you replay that? Let me see. It wasn't really clear from the Skype.
Let's see. I'm gonna slow it down to half speed. So for some reason, like whether you were taught this, so we'll point it out here. You're in the dash dance game. You're subconsciously spacing for that nair.
Yeah.
See, you're just outside the range. Just outside the range. And
that's what.
that's how you earn that hit, is because you space that very well. And so you're subconsciously doing it actually, because like why did you stop at that range? It's because he can thread the nair right there.
I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess. I don't know.
See?
Maybe.
You stuffed another aerial because you knew about the spacing. Ah. Nice. That's really good. Love your combo sense. Why did you grab?
That was a tech flow because I do aerials with Z.
Okay.
I should probably stop doing aerials with Z. I think about it.
So nervous. I'm like, how are you gonna end it? Very sexy.
That I think I could have ended it with a Jeffrey too. Now think about it. But it looked cooler this way.
Very nice. Very solid stock.
Phil was always killing me at the edge. I'd say.
Yeah.
I really I'm pretty bad at getting back on the edge versus any character.
Hmm. I see. Well, you got away with it here. Phil tech flub, so you're very fortunate there. Okay.
He didn't tech club the other times. He just
Yeah.
ran up and aired me.
Yeah.
Then I died.
So interesting spot here. This is a very common spot to read, right? So
Yeah.
we play to avoid aerials and getting hit by free hits, right?
Yeah.
But you got to realize that Fox's aerials subconsciously have a cooldown, and this is something that you can punish. So he lands, right?
Yeah.
He lands here, right? And then his effective range here, because he stopped, isn't very good. And so now he's in a very bad spot where he's in cooldown. His range is like destroyed because he doesn't have dash anymore. And so you can punish this. So one thing that you really can do is like, hey, like ideally the scenario is you get the grab, right? They miss the aerial, you grab and you kill them. On the flip side, every fox will have a habit here that you can punish as Marth, and this is really important. It's like kind of like how Sheik sometimes gets the tech chase and then they miss, but they still get another punish.
Yeah.
That's similar to this. So his
Well,
reaction there was the immediate spot dodge.
Yeah.
So that's like one thing that you can keep in the back of your head. That if they land your late, you can.
I think I noticed this by the end of the match.
Yeah.
Because he was expecting me to just dash in and grab again right after his arrow.
So that's like a read that you should be focusing on. Like, is he spot dodging? Is he starting to get grabbed? Is he starting to make adjustments? But like those are like secondary ways that you can get very damaging punishes. Oh no, you double dump.
Yeah.
He
My
just
Achilles
waited.
heel that is entirely caused by myself.
All right.
That was a bad pivot. I think I had him.
So scary. Oh no, that jump. All right. So something interesting here that you should pay attention to is this. Very common with Spaceys. He knows that's a terrible jump. You know that's a terrible jump, right? But
I was expecting him to cover it pretty fast.
yeah. So in this spot, like, there's a counterplay, right? Either he shines and jumps, or he lands and he gets grabbed, right? And if you can give him credit for jumping, then what you can do is just like run up to him, don't do anything, bait the jump.
It's like a way dash down.
Yeah, and just bait the jump. And that's how people get reads, right? Like they eliminate so many options that it's like, okay, like he has to jump here, and then you just hit him. So that's like that could have been a free punish for you if you. And I'm pretty sure like that's like how like top players get so many quote unquote reads is they understand the context of the situation and like what their opponent can do. And if they hang themselves, like there's very few things they can do to escape, and then you punish it.
So it's not really guessing, it's more like limiting the
Yeah.
options.
Even Mango does this a lot, actually. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I tried so hard to smash the out of that, but he hit me with the second hit instead.
Is that Tech Club?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the punishes so far I've had?
Um, I think I kind of wish like they've been pretty good on the first stock. So here,
That was actually really good by him. That's it.
I would have not liked this jump, and maybe it's because like I see it in hindsight that we can see that it's a lot worse. So, good idea here.
I think it would have been way easier just do an up tilt right
Yeah.
where I am right here.
At that spot, as soon as I see that he crouch canceled it, I'm not jumping.
That makes sense.
Because that's how you get caught here, and then you get killed for something that was a very favorable position for you.
That's the worst feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna do some crazy combo and then you die.
Ugh, I hate spot dodge shine. Oh, it's the worst.
This was a weird punish. I think I should have done something else.
Yeah. Oh, you missed a roll. Was that a wave dash?
That was way dash forward smash.
Yeah. I'm like generally like really weary of it because I mean once again it comes to credit, right? Uh, like Phil messed up here that could have been really disastrous. All right, good outspace. You're outspacing his aerials pretty well. Like Phil's throwing out a lot of reckless aerials, in my opinion, and getting punished. Oh,
I wonder if I could have dashed away from that down tilt, or was it just too badly spaced?
I think you hung yourself there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I think you could have done is just like pivot, wave dash away or something, or like just dash dance away.
Yeah.
But then that's not like really a good position for you either. Yeah. I can sometimes you panic though.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to spam forward smash there, right? I think I
Yeah.
saw that animation.
It's probably some unsafe move.
Like that you immediately go down there. No reason to stand.
Yeah. I didn't want to play that game anymore.
Yeah. So I like that you reset there. I don't like those forward smashes though. It's like the reason why is that even this, like what was it? Even here, like I feel like if he just like took a step forward and shielded, he could have went in and grabbed you.
I think in my mind, I was trying to use the chaos of the transformation
Okay.
to throw something out and see what it hit. But that's a gimmick.
So once again, another thing, and this is something that you need to pay attention to is, and just in general, like when your opponent like partially gets himself hung, right?
Yeah.
Right here, right? He knows that's a bad play that you can wave dash back into, and he knows that like he's stuck there. So like, what is the solution to get out of this? It's not attacking. It's always been the double jump.
Yeah.
And so those are like the type of reads that you can find. Like that you reset the situation. And so sometimes, like just reset. And I think sometimes we forget that when we're like in the skirmish zone, sometimes we panic, and sometimes the better option is to just reset the position and just focus on like what works for the matchup. So like the 2 times in this matchup where you reset, you regained an advantage because you remembered what you needed to do to earn a hit.
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in Fox's
Yeah.
pressure game. Let's say that.
Oh, he shined you.
That was-
Phil's
that was-
so good at that.
I think I was dead every single time I was diagonally below him.
So sometimes what I do as Sheik is in this spot, I'm going to think, right, if I have to get hit no matter what, right, what is like a net position for me that will not kill me, but could get me stage? And sometimes, I will take the hit, but if that gets a weak hit or puts me towards the stage, then I'll take it. Like, I'll take the 14 damage.
So as Mars, would you do like an early up B or something?
I would do an early up B. Like, if they're overzealous on a certain move, then they're not going to be in position to punish you.
He was at 0% though, so I think I was pretty tough to. He probably could have just hit me right after the up B. But it's a better position than what happened anyways. So
Alright. No grab there?
I was gonna pivot grab, but I messed up
Ah.
the ground.
So risky. This was probably going to get you killed. No reason for that. That's okay. That was late. But that forward smash, though, so scary.
Thanks-
And it puts
Thanks
you
for
out of
the best
position.
I did, or else I would have died.
Yeah. Alright. Good on the reaction on the no tech. Yeah, you get a lot of good damage. Oh, that's the aerial with that's costed you 2 big punishes.
I think I'm gonna switch to using C stick now for the instead of Z.
Alright, good stuff. Sometimes I really like the fast grabs into immediate attacks to throw out their DI. It's a little gimmicky, but you could throw it out there to keep them honest on their DIs.
It's generally pretty safe too, because they'll just go back to the edge or off the edge. Yeah.
Alright, fills the edge guarding pretty well. But at least this time, like, you have better position to possibly double jump over him and get
Yeah.
back to stage.
I think that's what happened, sort of. But then I threw out a pretty bad grab.
Thought that was gonna hit. Uh-oh. Yep,
He's
you
so
gotta-
good.
You gotta be careful on the side Bs, especially when they jump. When they decide to jump, you want to refrain from side B or just up B.
Yeah. Up B's probably
As soon
pretty.
as you see that jump, let's see. All right, that's not this one. As soon as you see that jump, you can just up B, right? He can't really beat you.
I'm not actually sure if I was stuck in the. No, never mind. I had a shot. Yeah.
So I guess that it's just a matter of refining the decision tree. But I know that Silent Wolf and other foxes will look for that side B and then just immediately shine.
Yeah.
All right. So you reset. You understand the nair spacing. Oh no, I went back because I'm a scrub.
I think we're good here.
All right. So you're beating him a lot in the full screen. I have to give you a lot of props that you're stuffing his aerials pretty well. Like almost every time. I just barely missed. Good latent up air. Good punish.
That was a very misguided up B.
Oh, so scary.
I think I could have done anything, like up air, nair, whatever.
All right, good reaction there. No, why?
I would have covered it, but I missed.
Did you react to the jump, or was it just instinct that you thought the forward
Yeah.
smash didn't work?
Yeah, I was actually gonna tomahawk grab, but then I realized he wasn't gonna. He was probably gonna jump, and I just did it.
No. All right, good stuff. You earned it. So, I think you did a lot of, you subconsciously knew the spacing to the matchup, and it seems like every time you were half screen or more, and he tried to get in, you won that situation like 80% of the time. We already talked about the fact that you're coming off the ledge, and it hasn't been pretty for you. So I think fairs and just working on creative things to maybe bait them to committing to something, and then just like wave landing and just going past them is probably like a option we can consider.
You know what the top Mars do? Get off the edge, or are they just really tricky about it? And they eventually
they look for a reaction window, right? Because if I jump, for example, a Sheik, like I can't always throw out a good hitbox, right?
Yeah.
So like if they're doing something, they're dashing away, then there's certain things that they can't throw at you. Like so we have to pay attention to like weaving, using your invulnerability to refresh, but also understanding that like what points of their movement or what points of their jump that they can't hit you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just waiting up.
Yeah.
Because Marth doesn't really have that many good options to get on stage. I think you can do like a waveland jab, but then they can crouch cancel it, and then it's over for you.
What some arts do is they jump onto stage and then wave dash back.
Oh, the hack dash?
Yeah.
I've been practicing that, but it's a pretty big risk,
Yeah.
especially with Marth's timing window for it. It's a lot harder than the Falcon one.
Oh, really? But
Yeah.
if you can like throw out like just like a fair, and like scare them off, then that could possibly give you enough room.
Yeah.
And
Possibly.
sometimes what else I do is like if I'm refreshing invulnerability, sometimes I go off sync to throw off their rhythm, and then on the off rhythm one I get up.
You know what Lord does? He
Uh,
just counters.
he what?
He jumps up and counters.
I think that's good if you have a very specific read because, yeah.
But I don't have the read mentality that he has,
Yeah.
sadly.
But if he's throwing off a lot of aerials, then if your opponent's like threatening with a lot of aerials, like Sheiks like to forward air a lot as Marth gets up, then you can throw a counter.
Yeah.
But it's like an all-in.
Other than the space and my stage control, you got any other specific notes from these matchups?
I think it was just like the tech clubs. I noticed a lot of the, we pointed out some of them. I think just there are a lot of times where, you just didn't get the proper, you grabbed instead of aerial. And then I would say, like, as a reminder, in the faster paced matchups, even in the slower paced matchups, if you're ever lost, Marth is probably one of the better characters that can reset.
Yeah.
So, like, if you ever feel like super uncomfortable, and I'm not talking about a position where they're shielding and you have an advantage, but both of you guys are moving around and you just don't feel comfortable, then you can just run away and just reset.
I am generally a pretty slow player,
What
I
was
would
that?
say. I'm generally a pretty slow player, I'd say.
Yeah,
I think it's the old school mentality.
yeah,
So my tech flubs are a lot more pronounced because I don't react as fast to the flubs, my own
right.
flubs.
And so, like, if you ever find yourself in like a very daunting position, just reset. Um,
Yeah.
because every time you went full screen against Phil, like you won.
It's a interesting thing about it because nobody wants to reset. I think people don't really enjoy the neutral game rather compared to the combo game or the punish game.
Yeah, but you're destroying Phil in neutral.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. And then like, cause for me, right, like when I play against like Samus or Peach, or like, you know when like Peach is like hovering of you with like threatening fair,
Yeah.
like as Sheik, I don't have to deal with that nonsense.
So
Like I can just run away, like rather than try to compete with that, where they fear my shield and like jab or grab or down smash me, and they have very little risk. Like I can just go like, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm just gonna go away. I want to make you reset your float, and then we're gonna fight.
so being in a net zero situation is better than being in a net negative.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. And even in, like sometimes it just changes the position, and like even against Puff, like if they're very comfortable with a certain zone, and like they really love that zone, then I'm gonna shake things up, and I might go back a little bit, I might go forward a little bit, just to like make sure that they're not comfortable. So sometimes like I might shake things up, so that it loosens them up and makes them feel unfamiliar with the situation. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The tech flubs, I think this easily could have been a two stock low percent if you didn't mess up your punishes. So I think that's very important if we want to really optimize and push you. Like especially against like Phil. Phil's not a bad fox, but he's not like super technical. He's not going to punish you for every little thing as much as like a Leffen or an SFAT.
I think he's more of a wait in space type of fox.
Yeah, but we can punish him hard if like we execute, and I think like we should. In theory, Phil's a good win, and I'm not even sure what your win loss is against him normally, but I feel like with just like a little bit more improvement, especially on stadium where you can punch him really hard, these should be two stocks.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have any other thoughts for now.
Yeah, we can talk about the plan going forward.
Okay, plan going forward. I mean, once again, continue to go to videos, get me material to look at. If there's a particular topic that you want to go over, then I can do research on it. But I would say in terms of homework, what's like the least boring thing? Practice your pivots. Practice your movement on command. There's a lot of different things that people do. Is like they like switch from like walk to run to like pivot, jab, and just make sure it's a bit cleaner. I think that's like one of the biggest things that you can do to improve yourself. And then
how many sets do you think we'll go over per week?
We'll probably go 2 on the show, and then we can private message each other on
Okay.
in private chat.
Sounds like a good number because we have foundries every week,
Yeah,
but I can't go to them every week, sadly.
yeah. Oh, because you're here.
Yeah.
On the off weeks, we can do it on Mondays. That Toph and Scar show aren't going live.
Okay, yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
So next week, if you want to do Monday and you want to do Tuesday, if you want to go to the Foundry and whatever the Wednesday tournament is, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any,
All right, cool.
Anything else?
I think good.
Alrighty. Thank you, stream, for tuning in. This is week 1 of Zero to Hero. It will be up on YouTube. I recorded it locally, so it's not going to screw up. Thank you very much for coming in.